Hello everyone and welcome back to this next lecture. So in this lecture, I'm going to conclude on this course. So the idea basically of this course, as I already said, was to encourage young people to choose power electronics. So in this lecture, I'm going to talk about at least just a bit of summing up of this entire, whatever I talked about in this particular course. So to sum up, all I wanted to say is that power electronics is an extremely fascinating domain which very sadly and unfortunately has not been projected in such a manner. Most people see power electronics as this mundane domain with just testing and fabrication and implementation and almost no analysis, no theory, and this is the reason why a lot of people just think of power electronics as the last option if they are undergraduates. And this is extremely unfortunate, because all the fascinating aspects of power electronics have been hidden away from young engineers who don't see it that way. Nowadays, everyone talks about AI and machine learning, but it's important to note that none of this is out of bounds in power electronics. Everything that you find fascinating in every other domain can also be implemented in power electronics. And just wanted to talk about my own journey. I was a practicing power engineer for close to 15 years. Right? After my undergraduate, I did a graduate student, which means I did my master's, I did my PhD, and then I did a postdoc as well. Right? So I did my postdoctoral fellowship, and after which I worked in power companies for close to 5 years. So I was a practicing power engineer for 15 years. And I worked on many projects, and trust me, they were incredibly satisfying and fulfilling. So power electronics is not a domain that I would say is boring or is mundane or is not exciting. I now have gone on to teaching power electronics, and to a large extent I teach online. And one of the reasons why I do so is I believe that now what this domain needs is educators who can make young engineers interested in power electronics. That is the reason why I left industry and now I'm teaching online. I have created several online courses in power electronics. I have written books, and also I have my YouTube channel on power electronics. And besides these, I would say that if you want to learn power electronics, there are now many online resources that you can use so that you can get education equivalent to what you would get in a university. These are good resources which are provided almost free of cost or at a very low cost to students all over the world, such that they can now access good quality education at a very affordable cost or no cost at all. So therefore, the facilities that are available to young students now to learn power electronics and learn advanced technologies is much more than what was available to me when I was a student. So with this, I just wanted to say that please do consider power electronics as your specialization if you are starting off in your journey in technology. That is, if you are a high school student, you want to take up an engineering domain, think about electrical engineering and power electronics. If you are already an electrical engineer, then in that case, think about specializing in power electronics. And sometimes I just want to say that after all these years as a power electronics engineer, I must say that it is difficult to tell people how much I love power electronics. I just joke that it is sometimes disgusting how much I like it. And I hope this love is not really illegal, especially in these days. Since, of course, when I love a power electronics device, I mean I love the power electronic circuits. But it's important to note that anyone who spends enough amount of time as a power electronics engineer will only love this domain. And there are good reasons for doing so. If you take a look at my online courses and also my YouTube channel, you will find that I examine so many different aspects of power electronics, it is difficult not to find it interesting. And therefore, this is why I say that all this domain needs is a little bit of public relations. People just don't see it for what it is. This is an incredibly fascinating domain, which for some reason has been hidden away behind a lot of misconceptions. And those misconceptions need to be dispelled so that people really see it for what it is. So, I hope this course has helped you in knowing what power electronics is all about. If you still have any doubts, feel free to contact me. Feel free to ask me your doubts, and I'll be happy to answer in whatever way I can. I hope, however, most importantly, that you do after this course spend some time in trying to think about becoming a power electronics engineer. And that, even if you spend some time in just thinking about it, that would be, I would say, success as far as me being a power electronics teacher is. If I can just get a few people just interested in power electronics. That is what is most important right now, to get young people into power electronics. Because as I said, all the areas that power electronics works on, these are domains that can directly affect our fight against climate change. So therefore, as I always said, please do consider becoming an electrical engineer and specializing in power electronics. So with this, I will say goodbye. And as I said, if you need any help or any further information, feel free to reach out. Good luck on your journey. Thank you so much, and I wish you all the very best.